All right, everybody, it is the weekend and it's time for an update in the workshop. So we'll start with this one, 2006 R1200 BMW, police bike, obviously. So very fortunate in that the bike arrived, as I mentioned in the previous video, in very good condition, having had a major service, new rotors, new filters, new oils, new clutch, spline, lubed and serviced, etc, 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 new brake hoses, all that good stuff. Also fortunate in that we're able to source the crash bar kit locally, so it now has the correct front and rear crash bars with a matching key that opens everything, which is a great result. What we were missing and weren't able to find locally is the plate that fits over here. A couple of replacement seat risers because these are kind of in bad array. But that plate's the important bit because the back here has a bracket that holds the back of the radio box on, which is that guy that's upside down over there. And without that, we can't fit anything off. So without any further ado, located a police motorcycle breakers in Germany who had all the bits, the bracket for the relays here, the bracket for those relays, there's little twisty things there that hold them in place, twisty things here. So bracket for relay there, bracket for relay there, mounting plate there, and various other bits and pieces that are police specific. So we can return, including the spacer here, which we didn't have a part number for. So we can return this bike completely back to police, with the exception of the left-hand siren, which I'm working on as we speak. I've got the right hand, got the connectors, got everything else, but need the left-hand actual siren to make sure the system works. Motorworks, so big shout out to Motorrad Hanover, or Hanover Motorrad Tyler, sorry I'm butchering that in German, for those parts. Very good price on those. Those should be here either Monday or Tuesday. And for Motorworks, the plastic insert lock and pin plus this blanking cover here are on their way, should be here hopefully the end of the week, so we'll be completely done with this one, obviously pending that left-hand siren. So that's the update on that, and then she's back on the road and all sorts of good stuff with this. We'll get some signage on her and ride her up and down for a while, so good stuff. Then I can put all this away, which is all BMW stuff, and again I'm using the Asian filing system where all this BMW parts, bolts, toolkits, everything else is all going to go in a correct box labeled BMW stuff. Hey, organization, pretty fun. Next up, we have a couple of updates. So waiting on the triple tree for the Z1000. That one was ever so slightly bent. Couldn't tell till got it on the bike, so I've got a new one, or a completely refurbished, completely straight one coming from Mid-Valley Kawasaki in California. So cheers, Jay, for that one. We have some progress on this, as I think you'll remember, that's the 79C3 frame, and it had a non-factory specified opening on this side. So we found a rather butchered frame that's been fairly well beaten up on the back, but the front is absolutely fine. So I'm just negotiating with the seller to get that frame in, and then we can half section this, just cut half the pipe, graft new pipe, send it off, have it blasted, have it two-packed, and put this one back on the road, because this is really nice. This has been race prepped. So that's that one, just to refresh your memory. That is the engine for that one, so that will go in there. So that's now been moved in preparation for going up there. There is a little bit of damage on this one. The housing on the back here is a pretty common problem. The chain slips, the cover that catches this doesn't catch it, and it snaps off the back of this. So luckily we've got a few of these, so we'll replace that back housing, give it a damn good clean. Obviously we've got a really nice race prepped set of carbs for this, which are a set of 650 carbs that have been slightly overboard with bigger jets, bigger primaries, etc, etc. So stuff to come on that. But before that happens, we have lots of progress on the engine. So there was a big lump of stuff here that was engines. That's now not here, it's there. So Mark, our engine builder and good mate, has been very busy putting these all back together. It's been very slow progress to this point because we had to catalogue all of this miscellany of just rubbish that are basically come in 15 of those green crates, as I think you'll recall, green lid crates over there. none of it had been organised. So we've had to organise which case halves go together, which barrels and which top and cam and everything else go together. So we've finally got that done, and we're also dealing with 5 engines which cover 1977 right the way through to 1982, and they're all slightly different. So very, very important to get all the right bits on there. And by slightly different, there is a different, this is a later engine, this is probably a 79. We're still working out the specifics, but there's an updated version of that gear shift tensioner that does the neutral switch. This is the 77 version, so completely different. So it's things like that that have slowed us down, but as I say, it's all coming together now, which is really encouraging. Mark's put a ton of hard work into this, so respect for his hard work. We were lucky that even though this was a dog's breakfast in terms of sorting stuff out, most of the bits you could dirt match. By that I mean you look at the lower and upper case halves and figure out the dirt is identical and the dirt patination is identical. So we're able to do that. So these two are back together. The next one is going to be that fella down there, and similar sort of thing. 77 Z650 B1 spec engine, so identical to this, and that should go back together very, very quickly because we've got a shopping list of bits, you know, roller guides, blah 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 blah, all of that sort of stuff. After that, so moving rapidly along, brings us to the bucket of soon-to-be black again bits. This is off that bike over there, which is a very late 82, early 83 F3 model, so still a 650, but they tarted up the engine, so everything is blacked out. So this will be going off to get Cerakoted, and Cerakoting is a process slightly less thick than powder coating, but still very durable. So think a sort of modern version of enameling, if you want a somewhat rough analogy. But that one will go off, and as I say, that's for that frame over there, which is a really nice straight frame. It's got the later gauges and everything on it. So last year of production was 83, so this is the end of 82, so very, very nearly the end of production. So very happy with that. That's going to go off, as I say, for Cerakoting. We know all of the internals for this are here. So in that box, in no particular order, are all the bearing shells, cam, crank, rods, pistons, etc, etc, etc. Gearbox is on the floor behind it there. It's all been sorted. In those two boxes are the parts for the performance bike, so that 79 Z650 C3. We have a really nice set of C3 bodywork, which is that blue stuff that's been on this bike but is wrong for that bike. So that tank and those body panels over there are for that C3. You also see, as long as we're giving it updates in here, you also see that, which has moved. That is the Honda engine. So that's our CB750 engine sitting there awaiting its place amongst the chaos. That's the seat on top, upside down, sorting various original fasteners out on the floor. What we're pending at the moment is the forks. So that's why it's whinnying like that and doing a big prancing horse pose. Just waiting for the forks to come in so we can fit the front end off. Gauges are being completely refurbished. Really, really nice. So Doug at OCD Vapour Blasted all of this. This is the rear wheel hub, sprocket and everything else going back together. Rims, aftermarket reproduction exhaust there. Stainless spokes, it's just going to look gorgeous. So we're very, very close on this one. We were missing somehow, I don't know how, a few rubber parts on this one. So those have been ordered, just little things, and it probably wouldn't make any difference except for me and my OCD. There is a little plate that goes on here, a plastic plate that fits on under the instrument. So when it's like that, that's the handlebar clamp, sits like that, and you have a rubber plate which then fits between the top of these lights, which are your idiot lights, and the actual handlebar clamp itself. So things like that, just small things. We finished the indicators today, so that's the front set and rear set. They're going to go on the bike and get fitted, start testing the wiring harness and all that sort of thing. That was our American import harness, so using that for reference. bolts are going back on, foot pegs are going back on. We've got a set of the headlight ears coming to match up with the original K2 bucket that we were very lucky to source. That's the fork rebuild kit right there, so I'm just waiting on that one. So we're very close on this. The book is over there, the toolkit is over there with the carbs. And as I say, you know, boxes of new bits and refurbished wherever possible. So all of this sort of stuff is either bright work or cables or things that were missing from the bike, like the horn for some reason. Don't know why that was gone, but it was. And we're able to obviously source, in this case, that's the genuine article. You can get aftermarket parts, things like brake switches, front brake assembly. Sorry to ramble on here. Those are the stainless spokes for the wheels. Front brake assembly had a hodgepodge of Suzuki bits, we think. So we've just ordered some reproduction A, B, and C hoses for the single caliper that go on this Honda. The really nice part is that's an original set of K2 front master cylinder. So that reservoir, the lid is obviously faded, but that actual whole assembly should be black. So that's how much the whole thing is faded. So that's going off to be blasted back to bare metal, primed and 2-packed satin. So that same black as the top of the airbox there. We've got the left-hand control as well, or handlebar perch as they're sometimes referred to. They're both going to go off and get painted along with various other components. So very happy with that. When they come back, we'll be able to fit everything off. We've got an original OEM brake master cylinder splitter, or brake line splitter I should say, which is this fella right here. These are just temporary bolts. So that is an original K2. It's got the correct components in it. We've got dressy bolts to go here. We've got the correct bolts coming for here with the spacers. Don't forget your spacers, boys and girls, otherwise you'll snap your unicorn triple tree. Same thing in here as well. These require spacers. So they're a half moon shape, basically curved on the back, flat on the front, so they line up with the edge of the fork. Same on top. If you don't put them in, these will snap. That's an alloy. So that's a very, very common mistake. Lots of people make, so don't make that mistake. You're welcome. So this has all gone back together. As you know, there was major surgery on the head. So major surgery is complete. It's now smooth as a gravy sandwich, no binding, no nothing. Got all dressed up chrome stuff, so instrument rings, rubbers, just waiting for the instruments to come back. This is an original K2 wiring harness. We're just giving it a little tidy up, fresh wrap, and laying it in so it sort of finds its home. The lock sits here, so just sort of about there, which is that fella down on the floor. So once this harness is sort of back to its normal position, you can see it's starting to curve around now. We can start fitting this off, and that's for the coils. So the electrics are coming together nicely down there. Obviously these early bikes quite simple for electrics, but there's a bit to getting the engine in the frame. I'm not going to rush it, but that will be coming together very, very soon. And as I say, once the rear wheels are assembled and they've come back and been relaced by Road and Race, that means it can stand on its own feet for the first time in a very, very long time. So there you go. That's Honda updates done. I will say that there are other updates coming with all of this. So that first engine, which is the 77 B1 spec, that bike will go back together very quickly. That's another 77, a little bit more work required to bring that one back. But we do have an engine for that and bodywork. We've got this lovely gent over here, which is our 1980 F1. That's the complete correct front end. Also a 1980 F1, we've got a very interesting project for this, which I won't tell you about right now. And that is the 82 F3. And that's the one that I was telling you is the all blacked out engine. Very, very nice looking bit of kit they are too. And obviously we are pushing towards getting all of this done as quickly as possible. So that's kind of the update. Lots and lots of other bits in play here. I won't make this video too long, but the Z1100 engine, the 81, As you can see, I've started fitting various body panels off just to make sure we've got everything. That is now very close to completion, and that will be coming from BC Performance. So thanks to Chris and Kelvin down at BC for that. That's going to be an epic build. There are very, very few of these still in existence. So it'll have all its original bright work, be redone in the red with the gold piping. You can see that mudguard was originally red. You can see that right there. So all of this nonsense will come off. That will get panel beat, stripped. We don't have a KZ here, we have a Z. So that body panel, the completely refurbished tank, thanks to Gold Star Repairs. That rear mudguard and that front mudguard will get completely redone in the red, and we'll probably not go with an applique pinstripe. We'll go with a painted pinstripe with a clear over the top, and then that way it'll last for a very long time. So that one's nearly done, very excited. This one yet to do, that's our 81 GPz1100. That's the B1 spec, so same year as this. That one's a chain drive, fuel injection. That's a shaft drive, constant velocity carburetors. So that's kind of it. I'll stop talking before I choke to death. Apologies for the lack of videos. I have been traveling a little bit, as you would have seen from my latest Where's Wally, but that's going to be it for a while. The wife and I have decided we've done enough traveling for at least probably 6 months. So I'll leave you with this shot, and hopefully the parts for this German weapon show up tomorrow or Tuesday. We can get that all fitted off and start getting the rest of the workshop cleaned up. Anyway, lots more to come. Hope you're well. Happy New Year to everybody, just once again. And hope that March, yes, the first quarter is nearly over. Hope that March has been kind to you. You're laughing a lot, living your best life, and indulging in something that brings you the sort of chaotic happiness that I have in front of me. And by the way, Kawasaki Marketing, banner from them. So Kawasaki Motors Australia, thank you very much for having a bit of faith in us reopening the Kawasaki production line. Cheers, everybody.